So you're a product design student, you're looking to get your master's abroad, and you're facing this absolutely huge decision. We're not just talking about a degree here. This is about launching your entire global career. You've got two incredible options on the table, both with legendary design cultures, but they could not be more different. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, this is the big question. Where do you go? Do you dive into the historic, diverse, industrial powerhouse that is Europe? Or do you immerse yourself in the meticulous, culturally rich landscape of Japan? Now, for an ambitious student who's also on a tight budget, this isn't just about what you like more, it's a massive strategic choice that's going to shape your whole future. Let's start weighing the options. Okay, first things first, let's look at the education and the career pipeline. I mean, what's the quality of the schools, really? And maybe more importantly, what doors does that degree actually open once you graduate? This is going to be our first filter, a way to see which region offers the clearest, most direct path to success. And right away, you can see the trade-offs. On one hand, you've got Europe. We're talking world-leading schools, a massive, interconnected industry. I mean, think automotive in Germany, luxury goods in Italy. It's all there. Then you have Japan, which offers this incredible, deep tradition of craftsmanship and access to truly legendary brands like Sony and Muji. But, and it's a big but, actually getting your foot in the door as a foreigner can be a much, much tougher climb. Now, when we lay out the specifics like this, side by side, a pretty clear pattern starts to emerge. For an international student, Europe really pulls ahead in almost every practical way. You've got more globally recognized schools, way more programs taught in English, and a much bigger pool of internships that actually pay. And honestly, this mobility advantage, it is a huge deal. An EU visa can open doors in 27 different countries, while Japan's system is just way more restrictive. So, after our first filter, the conclusion is pretty straightforward. When it comes to the sheer breadth of opportunity and just how accessible it all is, Europe is the clear winner. But, and you knew there was a but, for a student who's conscious about their budget, this is only half the story. The best opportunity in the world doesn't mean a thing if you can't afford it. And that brings us to the money. This is the reality check. We're on the hunt for the absolute best value, that magic combo of low-cost, high-quality education and solid scholarship potential. And, well, this is where one country in particular really starts to pull away from the pack. And here it is. This one number changes the entire game for so many students. In Germany, public universities charge basically zero tuition fees. That's even for students from outside the EU. You just pay a small administrative fee each semester. It is an almost unbelievable value proposition. But wait, it gets even better. On top of the free tuition, Germany has the legendary DAAD scholarship. Now, if you wanted to get this, it doesn't just waive your fees. It gives you a monthly stipend, around 934 euros, specifically to cover your living costs. This is the key that makes a world-class education not just affordable, but literally free. It really just boils down to this simple equation. You take the zero tuition, you add the potential for a DAD scholarship, and you get an absolutely unbeatable package. It's a direct path to a top-tier education, amazing career prospects, all without that crushing student debt. Okay, but let's be realistic. Not everyone's going to get a scholarship, so what do the numbers look like then? Well, even without any financial aid, look at this. Germany is still the most affordable option. Because your only major cost is just living expenses, Italy is also a pretty strong contender, but Japan, especially in a big city like Tokyo, is consistently the most expensive of the three. So financially and professionally, Germany is looking like a knockout winner. But here's the thing. A master's degree is 2 years of your life. What's it actually like to live there as an international student, especially one from India? It's time to look at the human element. And we have to address the elephant in the room. This is a critical and totally fair question, especially with the headlines you might see about the rise of far-right parties in Europe. So, does the political climate you hear about match the reality on the ground for students and skilled migrants? Well, the reality, when you look at the data, is a bit complex. But honestly, it's pretty reassuring. Yes, the AfD party has gained in the polls. But, and this is key, it's politically isolated. Other parties just refuse to work with it. And even more importantly, there has been a massive public pushback with huge protests all across the country in support of diversity. Government policy is still very much pro-skilled migration, and the proof is in the numbers, right? Indian student applications are up 35%. So how easy is it to just get by?
Well, in a major hub like Berlin, you can absolutely live your life comfortably in English, which is a massive advantage when you first land. Other cities like Cologne are also super English friendly. Now, in more traditional places like Munich, you'll be fine in the business world, but learning some German is definitely going to be key for your day-to-day life. And here's what might be the most important part. You won't be alone, not by a long shot. Cities like Berlin have a massive international and expat student community, which gives you a vital support network right from day one. Cologne and Hamburg are also fantastic for meeting people from all over the world. That social infrastructure, it's just so incredibly important for feeling at home. Okay, we've looked at opportunity, we've looked at cost, and we've looked at the quality of life. Now it's time to bring it all together and make a real data-driven decision. We've weighted the criteria based on what we think matters most to a student who's on a budget but laser-focused on their career.
Now, the weighting here is everything. You'll see we put cost and career at 35% each because, let's be honest, for most students, those are the biggest drivers. And Germany scores incredibly high on both, thanks to that zero tuition and the job mobility across the EU. Japan, it scores well on safety for sure, but it does fall behind on cost and how easy it is for foreigners to get a job. And socially, Germany's bigger expat community gives it a little bit of an edge.
And when you run all the numbers, well, there it is. Based on this weighted analysis, Germany comes out with a pretty decisive score of 88% compared to Japan's 70%. For any student who is prioritizing affordability and global career opportunities, the data really does point clearly in one direction. So let's just boil this all down to the final takeaway. Think of it this way. The choice for Germany is the pragmatic one. It's the choice for your head. It's built on incredible value, powerful career mobility, and a really strong international community. Japan, well, Japan is the choice for your heart. It's for that unparalleled safety, that once-in-a-lifetime cultural deep dive, and for a career path that's really dedicated to its own iconic companies. And here's a really powerful strategy that came out of all this research. You might not have to choose just one thing. Start your master's in a city like Berlin, vibrant, international, affordable, and build up your social and professional network. Then you can leverage Germany's amazing transport to go after those dream internships in the automotive heartlands like Stuttgart and Munich. It really is the best of both worlds. So, at the end of the day, all this data, it's just a map. You're the one who has to choose the destination. Is your top priority that pragmatic path of career mobility and global opportunity? Or is it the deep, focused, incredible experience of total cultural immersion? The answer to that question isn't just going to define the next 2 years. It's going to define the entire trajectory of your career.